It's a bit of a Halloween hangover for me this week because I went to the cinema.
Oh, wow.
As in, it's not news that I went to the cinema because I always go to the
It's your
cinema.
natural habitat, isn't it?
It is. It's like a second home for me. And I watched the new Saw film, Saw X.
Wow.
My first Saw film. I haven't seen any of the other 9 films.
You haven't seen any of them before?
Not a single one.
Okay.
And I was like, how bad could it be? Both ends of the bad, like bad in a good way and bad in a bad way.
Because it's not your sort of horror film, is it?
Definitely not.
It's very, like, gruesome. It's very gory.
I don't mind gruesome, gory.
Okay.
But this was gratuitous. I thought it was gross, man.
Gross.
Gross. I just sat there, and the stuff that was happening on screen, it wasn't my cup of tea.
Describe it to me. What sort of things disgusted you?
Oh gosh. So amputations, a lot of fiddling around with the organs.
Nice.
The first third of it was pretty slow.
Okay.
But then when it got into it just was relentless. Just kept going. To be honest, I think the first like jigsaw trap thing was the worst, and then like progressively it got less gross.
Okay.
Not no spoilers, but like
yeah,
I wasn't a fan, and it's surprising to me that there's been 10 of these now, and they've got such a following because it wasn't well made.
Right.
The story didn't make much sense.
I was going to ask actually, how much of a storyline is there to these Saw films? Because I haven't watched any of them for obvious reasons. You know, I'm not a fanatic of horror films, but yeah, is there a storyline?
I haven't looked deeply into it.
Okay.
But there is a overarching storyline, and apparently it's full of plot holes. But I was wondering what sort of person would sit in a cinema and watch this. Like,
weird people.
But it's popular. Are you saying there's a lot of weird people?
Yeah, weird people are popular.
Doesn't that just make them normal?
Potentially.
Because if you look at the budget, they're made on like 10%, and then they make like 10 times the amount of the budget.
Maybe it's because it's an easy fix.
Easy fix for what?
An easy fix for those who crave something gruesome. Because there are people out there like that. There's a lot of people secretly who have a very dark...
Okay, you know what? Just, I've had enough.
This is the GrassTooth podcast.
What have you been doing this week then?
I've been burning through this TV show, right? Have you come across Manifest before?
No.
At all?
No.
In any form, any shape, any substance? Nothing.
I know about manifesting.
Okay.
I manifest all the time.
Oh, okay.
Manifesting big things.
Mm-hmm.
But I have not heard
not
of
the TV show.
No.
Okay. It's to be honest, because you're a bit of a TV/cinema snob. Snob.
Okay.
I don't know if you like it, but I mean, in terms of the cinematography, I wasn't a big fan of it either. But it follows a storyline which is quite intriguing to me, and it kind of fits the bill of what I'm interested in, which is like mysterious stuff, conspiracy theories, that kind of stuff, you know. So Manifest is basically that. It's basically a TV show about these passengers, and they board a plane. And the flight is infamously known as Flight 828. So that's the flight. They're going from Jamaica, where they all went on holiday to. Jamaica.
Unnecessary. We'll carry on.
Wagwan General.
Yeah.
And they're flying back to New York, right?
Right.
Essentially, what happens is, as they're flying back, the plane hits supreme turbulence. And there's a really heavy storm outside, and the plane's shaking. Everyone's like, yo, what's going on here? It's a bit scary. It's a bit spooky, and the pilot's kind of going, okay, what's going on over here? Let me use the radio satellite thingy to ask for some assistance. And they essentially sound very confused, and they instruct him to stop at the local airport. I was going to say station there, local airport. And when they get off, the Secret Service are there. And they're then told that it's basically 5 years had passed since they boarded that flight.
Right.
So they're all going, what the hell? Like, what's happening here? So that's the first question. Why has 5 years just passed? Right? And then the second thing, and this is the more mysterious part of the TV show, is that they all get these things called callings. You know what a calling is, right? Like in general terms, a calling.
When someone's being called. A summoning.
kind of a summoning, or like you suddenly have an urge to do something,
right?
Or it can be a religious thing, it can be a work thing. You suddenly
everyone's
feel like
suddenly been given a purpose.
To a certain degree, they all get these things called callings within the TV show, which is essentially either like a vision or like a voice that basically guides them to do something. And there is a degree of do something for a higher purpose, but they all have individual callings, and they're kind of interconnected. So a lot of them have kind of joint callings together, and they have to like solve a purpose. That's basically the TV show, and the interesting part of it is just how they rejoin society, right? Because for them it was just a really quick flight, like a bit of turbulence, but for everyone else 5 years had passed. So a lot of the passengers had to deal with
families thinking they'd died and moving
exactly,
on, so on, so
lost
forth.
They lost family members within the 5 years. Some have moved on, wives, girlfriends, they've moved on to marry other people. Like it's a bit of a what do you do then? It's quite a challenging situation, and on top of that, it's a lot of people are very suspicious. Conspiracy theories, the public scrutiny is getting a bit heated up, right?
Yeah.
I watched that show and I was thinking, let's say, I want to give you a bit of a scenario, yeah?
Okay.
All right. Let's say young Gopi.
How young are we talking?
23, 24.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty young. Yeah.
Okay.
Young Gopi hops onto a plane and he decides to visit Athens because he wants to see Hadrian.
I want to see Hadrian.
You want to meet Hadrian, right?
I do.
So let's say you go to Athens, you have a fantastic time in Greece, and then you're coming back, and then your plane hits the same turbulence, gets a bit booky, and then you land, and they tell you 3 years have passed.
Okay.
Right, it's been 3 years, right? Obviously, the first thing that comes to your mind is, what's happened to the GrassTooth podcast? Am I right or am I right?
That's the first. Obviously, that's the first thing I think of. Yeah. I come back here, and if I see someone here sitting, like if you're in the middle of a recording, and I see someone else sitting here, I would not be happy. If I somehow disappear on a flight thing, this stops. Okay.
This completely stops.
Completely stops.
But I mean, let's say it didn't. Let's say I grieved for a few days. Okay, not a few days. I'll give you a few weeks. I'll give you a few weeks, right? I grieved for a couple of weeks, and then I speak to other people and
start seeing other people.
The GrassTooth becomes, I don't know, the bush nostril. I don't know.
Okay.
Becomes the bush nostril, right?
Bushy nostril. It's not a bad.
It's not a bad name, right?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
If it becomes a bushy nostril,
you wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't mind. I'd
Really?
be like, that's quite a good name. You know what?
I respect that. I respect that. You wouldn't be happy.
As in, if you'd replaced me, 100%, I'd be okay with it.
Oh.
I'm a very understanding, compassionate person.
Okay.
Life must go on. The show must go on.
So you'd actually. Oh, okay. So you'd be happy. You'd be happy for me and the show.
I'll be like, wow, you stuck to it. I'm really proud of you.
I was not expecting an answer like that.
Why were you expecting?
I was expecting you to be like
just angry and flipping the table.
Very angry, yeah.
No, I'm not that guy, man.
Are you not?
No. What gave you that idea?
So now that we just put a camera in front of us, now you're saying these sorts of things, yeah? We both know deep down.
Am I an angry person?
You're not an angry person.
Okay.
But okay. This is slightly backfired.
Would you be angry if I
tell you,
continued the show?
In all honesty,
yeah,
I would toy, as in I'd be very, very conflicted. Okay, I'd either support you and accept it and be like, you know what, it's been 3 years. Obviously for me personally, it's quite unjust because I've just been on a flight and then I've suddenly found out 3 years have passed. But on your, from your perspective, I'd understand it. The show must go on, as you say. But it's either that, or I hunt you down. I hunt you and your co-host down, and I twist your arm so hard that you have to put me back on. I think that's.
This is the thing, as you were saying. What if the podcast pops off and we've got just millions of subscribers, and they're used to the other guy now? They're just like, yeah, this is the guy. When we think GrassTooth podcast, we think of these two people,
right? Another Korean.
And then if you came back. I'd be like, yo, you can be behind the scenes maybe, but like...
Should I be the cameraman? I can be the cameraman, right?
This is a thing now.
Oh, okay.
That would like I'm saying that
Mm-hmm.
from this side,
Mm-hmm.
but if I heard that from the other side,
Yeah.
I would kind of
That would upset you, right? Yeah.
I might
Okay.
flip a few tables then.
Yeah. Yeah. Would Bloomington get it as well?
No.
Oh, Bloomington's safe.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd
fine.
respectfully move him elsewhere
Okay.
and then flip the table.
Fine. Cool. That's a very rational answer. I like it.
The show made me think of a couple of shows that I've watched. As in
Mhm.
one show I've watched and one which I haven't.
Mhm.
Have you seen Lost? Do you know about Lost?
I know about Lost, but I haven't watched it. I know it because there's a Korean fella on it.
Oh,
Right? Is it Daniel Kim? Is he?
I haven't
Is
seen
he
it.
on that show?
I haven't seen Lost.
Oh, you haven't seen Lost?
No,
Oh,
I just
okay.
brought it up because it's
I
got a
just brought it
similar.
up.
Can I not do that? It's not.
No,
I'm not
you
allowed.
can.
I need to have watched everything I bring up.
No. You
I need to
can't.
know everything about everything.
Tell me about Lost.
So these guys, they get lost.
Okay.
It's a plane crashes,
Okay.
and it's that mystery type stuff that you want. No one really
Mhm.
knows. They're on this island. All this weird stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
The ending wasn't that well received,
Okay.
but the showmaker did go on to make one of my favorite TV shows, which was The Leftovers,
Okay.
which is equally mystery-y.
Right.
And it's about one day, 2% of the world just disappear.
Like a Thanos.
Like a Thanos.
Yeah.
Except we don't know if there was a Thanos or not.
Mm.
No one knows why.
It's just happens out of the
It just
blue.
happens out of the blue.
Just people just disappear.
Completely disappear.
Right. Okay.
And it's just about the 98% of people that are left behind
Mm-hmm.
and how they're coping with it. And it's based off of Albert Camus' The Plague.
Okay.
It's a French philosopher.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a plague and people start dying and everyone's questioning, all that existential stuff.
Right.
Like, why is all this happening? So on and so forth.
I guess the
What
modern
is the
example
meaning
of that's
of
COVID, isn't it?
Yeah, no. That's what
Kinda
I
crazy.
think there was like a like people were revisiting that book a lot during that time.
During the time. Yeah. Okay, interesting. I might give it a go actually. I like that mysteriousness.
No, I
of it.
100%
People disappearing. It's my sort of jam.
recommend The Leftovers.
The Leftovers. Okay, I'll give it a go. What's been on your mind?
I was in the shop
Okay.
the other day, just having a grand old time.
Okay.
Little newsagent type situation.
Are you in there for a particular reason?
I was given a calling
Okay.
by my sister.
Fantastic.
She wanted a chocolate bar.
Okay.
So I went to the newsagent.
Procure some chocolate bars. Okay.
Pick up a chocolate bar.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the queue and I see a guy come in
Mm.
and he goes to the alcohol type section
Mm-hmm.
and he picks up 2 beer cans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I was watching him, but there was like a bit of a queue in front of me. I
Yeah,
was just waiting. And before he turns around, he slipped one of the beer cans into his pocket.
And you saw.
And I saw.
Right.
And then he joined the queue behind me.
Okay.
If you had been in my place,
Mm-hmm.
what would you have done?
That question depends on a lot of things.
Mm.
A lot of variables. How close are you to the boss man?
There are about 2 or 3 people in front of me.
No, I mean in terms of emotionally.
Oh, okay.
Do you know this boss man well?
I don't know. I think there's maybe a couple of shopkeepers that I kind of have a chat with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is one of those people where I'm kind of go there quite regularly,
Okay.
but we're
You
not,
know of his presence. You know
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
seen you before. Like
Yeah.
if you walked in, he'd be like, "Oh,
I'm a
I know
regular.
that
Yeah,
fella."
yeah.
All right, okay. The second question is the person that stole the beer can.
Mm,
If shit hits the fan,
mm.
would you have been able to take him down? Do you think?
This is what I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
I was
That's the
thinking-
important question.
Yeah, I was thinking if I did snitch on him,
Mm-hmm.
what would he then do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
As in, that's a difficult thing because for me, right? Like I don't want to be a grass,
Mm.
but I want to be.
You don't want to be a grass.
I don't want to be a grass
on the GrassTooth
on the GrassTooth podcast. Yeah, but I would want to be a hero.
Oh,
I would want to save the day, right? But then,
what is your idea of saving the day? Grassing on this man.
not grassing on this man, going up to him and saying, "Hey, buddy,
Excuse me.
listen, I'm not going to say anything, but you had two cans of beer in your hands, no?" And he might say, "Yeah." Well, where did the other one go then? And then I'll look at the bulge in his pocket and say, "I think it's over there, mate." All right. So take it out before I tell the boss man. All right. And I don't want any trouble. Okay. But I know Muay Thai.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you know Muay Thai?
I don't know Muay Thai.
Okay, yeah.
But confidence is key.
Yeah, of course.
And I'd be like, take it out, right? And let's just pretend like it never happened. All right. And then we go on with our days, and it's all Gucci, right? Then if he starts kicking off, this is where my assessment comes in. Can I take him?
Right.
If he decides to switch and take me on, if there's a chance he could take me, I wouldn't do that, because ultimately at the end of the day, my life is precious, right?
It is so precious.
And as in, I would be doing the right thing, but do I risk my life doing that? I think that's the question for me. So I think the most important question is, can I take him on? If I can't, is it worth doing it? That's how I think.
You see, and then this made me wonder, what if it hadn't been a beer? What if it had been same guy, loaf of bread?
Would that make in your eyes? Would that make a difference?
I think so, definitely. I think I'd empathize a lot more.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have this much of a moral conundrum. I'd be like, if you need the bread that bad, less judgment.
Yeah. See, I never condone stealing. Generally speaking, I think if it's out of necessity, like with the bread, as in you can't assume, right? But you can hazard a guess that they just want some food, man, and they haven't eaten. I'd be a bit more sympathetic, but I wouldn't accept it.
Okay. Can we have the talk again? But this time it's bread.
Okay. I'm like, where you going with that, mate? Want to make a few toasties, do you? I'm joking. I wouldn't say that. No, I think it feels bread. I'd accept it. Not accept it, but I would bat an eyelid. I wouldn't bat an eyelid.
You do something with your eyelid.
I do something with my eyelid, and bat. Yeah. I'd just kind of let it slide, and I'd take it. I mean, again, I wouldn't condone it personally. Stealing is wrong, regardless, in my eyes. And there are only very special occasions where I think stealing can be acceptable. In this case, listen, if you're hungry and you need to eat and you've got nothing else, then I'm not going to do anything. Do you know what I mean? Why would I stop you from doing that, even though I think you're wrong? But yeah, it's a tough question. Morally, it's a very tough question. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think stealing can ever be? I mean, what's your take on stealing?
As in, you studied sociology.
I did, yeah.
I think if there is a need to steal, that's a failing of society rather than the individual.
I agree. Yeah.
I think that's where I stand on it.
I think there's certain situations where stealing might have to be a necessity. So this bread example is probably quite close to that, I think.
Then there's the whole thing about if you, let's say your child is in dire need of an inhaler, and there's one pharmacy in town, and it's shut,
and you can't afford. Oh, it's shut. Yeah.
Would you break in and take an inhaler?
Yeah, it's acceptable.
Your principles and morals seem quite fluid.
They are fluid. I think they're very dependent on the situation. I think. Yeah. And in terms of within sociology as well, we actually learned about the value of utilitarianism, which I think plays a part here. So if you do something,
what is the value of utilitarianism?
It's basically if you do something, you do it for the value of society, or on a personal note, you do something for pleasure and for your own happiness, right? But if you're making a decision on something for the public, it needs to be for the benefit of the public. So, for example, let's say this is again just off the dome, right? But let's say you steal a bomb off someone. You're technically stealing someone's possession, but you're doing it for the benefit of society because you're stopping a bomb from going off.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So those are the situations where I feel like stealing is acceptable. I think it depends on who you're stealing it from and also who the potential victim is, right? I think those are the key questions. But yeah, you know, what sort of beer was it that he took?
Tyskie?
A Tyskie.
Tyskie.
Wow. Okay. Tough times.
Does that change anything for you?
No. Tough times. I think if you're stealing a can of Tyskie, I wouldn't fight you. Right. If you stole a San Miguel, maybe.
Okay, fine. Then
I'd definitely fight you. I'd definitely fight you. It doesn't matter your size. If you're drinking San Miguel's, I'm gonna fight you.
Anything that comes in a glass bottle, you're intervening. Speaking of glass bottles, now it's time for the glass truth.
The glass truth. Making sense of nonsense.
This is the glass truth, people. Your new source of news. We're doing things differently around here, okay? We're looking through things in ways that people wouldn't even think of.
Magnifying glass.
Magnifying, that's the glass. We're looking at it.
Telescope.
Real close.
Telescope.
I'm going to hand it over now to our special correspondent. Yoni, what's going on?
I want to go back to last week.
Okay.
Where in last week's Glass Truth, and if you haven't watched it, watch the previous episode 3.
Yes.
On YouTube and all social platforms. Yes. You talked about necrobots.
I did.
And it really hurt me.
It hurt me too.
It really, it's a disappointing thing to hear, right? So I looked into it a bit further because I was curious.
Okay.
Right?
And what did you find?
I found out that they were killing these spiders. They were euthanizing these poor spiders for their studies.
Did they say how?
They just killed it. They just killed it somehow. They just killed it, man. They killed these poor spiders. And what was her name? The lead scientist, Fei Yap. That's her name, Fei Yap.
Right.
Doctor, oh no, she's a student? Probably a student. Fei Yap. You can yap all you want. You can yap all you want about the scientific benefits of this research. But I will hunt you down. Not anytime soon, because I don't plan on going to America anytime soon, but I will hunt you down. And when I find you, I'm gonna come. Okay, we need to start going slowly.
Sorry, Yoni had to storm off. He stormed off because he was that angry with what happened. Have you calmed down now?
Slightly.
Yeah?
Slightly. Sorry, I lost a bit of composure there.
Do you want to apologize to Dr. Student Yap?
Dr. Fei Yap, I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
Nothing personal.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to threaten you. That's not my intention.
Yeah.
I was just really upset.
You need to think about what you do before you do it. Okay? Just because we can doesn't mean we should.
We don't need any more gripper thingies. You can buy them from Poundland. You probably don't have. I don't know if you have a Poundland in the US or in Houston.
They got a Dollar Tree.
They got a dollar store. The dollar store.
The Dollar Tree.
But we've got plenty of 99p places around
We can
here.
send you some.
Don't be killing these cute little
Fei
wolf
Yap.
spiders.
Let us know where you are. We'll send you some grippers. Okay?
Respect.
Now, on to some other news.
Yes, please.
Some new news.
Okay.
We got a comment, guys. And we've spent a while trying to understand what this enthusiastic fan of ours is saying.
Fan?
Yes.
Okay.
It's fans from Sweden. And the comment, which I translated into English through Google Translate, says... So this was under our last Glass Truth, where we were talking about... No, the one before that.
The one before
where we were talking about art.
Yes.
And I think specifically the Danish Jens Hanning piece.
Yes.
And this commenter says, do a Swedish one, because I'm from Sweden. In Swedish? Now do a Swedish that I am living in this... Oh, he's saying it in Swedish now. Now do a Swedish that I am living in the same country. That's do a Swedish one, because I live in Sweden.
Okay.
So what I took this to mean is they want Sweden-specific news.
Okay.
So I looked into this.
Fantastic.
This is for all our Swedish viewers.
We embrace globalization here.
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah,
We
look
embrace
at
different
us.
cultures.
Look at us.
Do you know what I mean?
All
So
about
this is
coming
what we do.
together,
This is
having
what we
fun.
do.
Yeah.
Hit it.
So Sweden's recently launched a campaign to stop tourists from confusing it with Switzerland.
Continue. Okay. Right.
Sweden's tourism board has launched a campaign to stop it being confused with Switzerland after a number of recent blunders from world leaders, including Joe Biden. The tourism board says Switzerland can focus on mountaintops while Sweden can focus on rooftops. As long as both tourism organizations stick to this division in all communication with the outside world, the confusion should come to an end.
Okay.
So I've got something prepared that I
Okay.
have told you nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
Kept it quite mysterious.
You have, yeah.
I've got some facts here that I've sorted out in a quiz type format.
Oh, okay.
And
I love
you're going to
quizzes.
tell me whether the answer is Sweden or Switzerland.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Sweden or Switzerland?
Mm-hmm.
Which country was ranked first for the 8th consecutive year as the most innovative country in the world by the Global Innovation Index?
Innovation. No disrespect to Sweden, but I feel like Switzerland's got this.
What makes you say that?
I just don't know. I just get the vibe from Sweden. It's a very...
Do you mean Switzerland?
Just-
Oh, wait, do you mean you get the vibe that Swedish people are not innovative?
No, I get the vibe that's... No, I actually got it wrong there. I got it confused as well, guys. My bad.
This quiz is going to go great.
Yeah, this is really great. I'm sweating right now. I'm really sorry to this Swedish fan that commented. I think the reason I say that is because it's actually weird. You know, when I talked about euthanasia, I feel like obviously euthanasia is acceptable in Switzerland, right? I feel like that's quite innovative.
Progressive almost.
It's progressive, yeah. And I think that...
Well, you'd be correct.
Oh, fantastic.
So it is indeed Switzerland.
Ding, ding, ding.
Forests cover 2/3 of which country?
Forests. Okay. Ooh, forests.
2/3.
Oh, it's a difficult one. I feel like it would be Sweden. I feel like it would be Sweden just because Switzerland's very much in this center of... Not center, but like it's in Europe. Like it's just packed in. Not much forest around in Europe, but up in Sweden. I feel like there'll be more forest there.
You'd be correct again. Sweden, compared to Switzerland, which has the Alps, which make up about 60% of Switzerland.
Wow, okay.
So it's 2/3 forest in Sweden, 60% in Switzerland of mountain range and stuff like that.
Okay.
This country's passport is considered one of the best in the world, allowing you to enter 124 countries without a visa.
I know the answer to this question.
Oh, what is it?
Weirdly, do you know how I found out?
How did you find out?
I went on a double date on a few days ago.
Okay.
And it's with my girlfriend's younger sister. And she said this. It's kind of crazy that it's come out. It's Switzerland, right? Have I got it wrong? If I got it wrong, she got it wrong. I'm passing on the blame.
It's Sweden.
Is it Sweden?
It is Sweden.
So she got Switzerland and Sweden confused.
I should have checked up how many countries you can enter with Switzerland.
Right.
I didn't do that.
You didn't do that. So the jury's still out there.
The jury's still out there. If you can find out, let us know, because I don't want to look this up. You look it up. Let us know, you know?
Yeah.
Ari Aster's film, Midsummer, is a horror take on the summer solstice of which country? Sweden or Switzerland?
Sweden.
That is correct. Despite the film being horrific, nowadays Swedes can be found eating boiled potatoes with butter and dill during midsummer.
I love a bit of dill.
Sounds kind of bland.
Dill? Are you crazy?
This country has the longest tunnel in the world.
The longest tunnel?
Sweden or Switzerland?
Tunnel. Switzerland.
That's correct. Gotthard Tunnel, at 57 kilometers, is 7 kilometers longer than the Channel Tunnel between England and France.
I didn't even know they had that tunnel.
The Channel Tunnel?
I didn't even know.
Oh.
Yeah. I've never been to Switzerland.
Oh, you mean you didn't know Switzerland had that tunnel?
Had that tunnel, yeah.
I thought you meant you didn't know about the Channel Tunnel.
Oh, no.
Okay. I don't know,
hey,
man.
I've just gotten 5 answers right. Right. Don't diminish my intelligence.
You got 4 answers.
Oh,
Maybe
4.
5.
Maybe
Depends
5.
if Switzerland's more
Of
impressive
course.
with the visa situation.
Mm-hmm.
This country forbade one of their musicians from referring to their daughter by the name Lexicon. Which country does not allow parents to name their children however they want? Sweden or Switzerland?
However they want. What do you mean? So, like, parents can't name their children whatever?
Yep.
So how do they choose a name then?
As in, I feel like it's the parent chooses one.
Okay.
And if it's too silly, this country's like, no.
They reject your application for a name. So if I wanted to call my son Johnny,
As in, I'm sure they'd be okay with it.
so Elon Musk wouldn't be able to name his child
Not in this country.
In this country.
Almost at the
So who's got the less weird names? Is that the way to look at it, or is that a very
I think that's a very smart way to
There's
look
a
at
smart way to look at it, right? Who's got?
it. As in, we're not saying either country has
No,
weird
no one's
names.
got weird names. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Okay.
He's got a weird. I've got a weird name.
Very
We've all
weird
got
names.
weird names.
He's got a very long name.
A lot of British names are weird. I
Yeah.
think about British names all the
Mm.
time. I'm like, what sort of name is that?
Albert.
Still not right name.
That's all right, actually. I kind of like Albert. Oh, that's a good one. I feel like it's Sweden for this one.
That is incorrect.
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
I wonder if-
Apparently, the name Jonathan was also rejected,
Jonathan.
except it had a silent D at the start.
The Jonathan.
The Jonathan.
The Jonathan. I like that.
Love me. Say that you'll love me. Do you know what song that is? Loveful by the Cardigans.
Mm.
This music group is from which country?
Wow, I just thought they were either British or American. So now I have to pinpoint their accent. Switzerland?
Incorrect.
Oh,
That one is Sweden,
right.
which is music is one of Sweden's biggest exports.
Absolutely.
As you should,
Absolutely.
as a music boy. I thought you would know.
Absolutely.
With some of their most well-known musicians, including ABBA, Robin,
My favorite.
Tavlo, Jose Gonzalez, Swedish House Mafia.
Jose Gonzalez. Sounds a bit Mexican there.
I'm not
But
gonna
okay,
comment
fair
on that.
enough. Swedish.
Zara Larsson and Ace of Base.
Oh, okay.
In which country is working on Sunday frowned upon? Sweden or Switzerland?
Ooh. Switzerland?
That is correct. No
Thank you.
mowing the yard, hanging laundry outside, hammering, or anything else that might disturb the serenity of the neighbours on Sundays.
Fair enough. I
Do you
respect
agree?
it. I respect it. I respect it.
Despite allowing gun ownership, this country has some of the lowest crime rates in the world. Sweden or Switzerland?
Sweden?
Incorrect once again. Switzerland.
Switzerland.
It's important to be noted that the reason for this great amount of people owning guns in Switzerland is since this country has mandatory military service. After they finish their service, all of them are supposed to take their assault rifles or pistols at home, however, without ammunition.
Respect.
This country, this is the final question.
Fantastic.
You've done pretty well.
Thank you. A 2-1,
Yeah,
potentially,
maybe.
if I get this one
Do
right.
you know how many you've got right?
I
'Cause
don't
haven't
know.
been counting-
I've got about 3 wrong, I think.
Okay. This country has over 95,000 lakes.
Oh, lakes.
Lakes.
Okay. If we said legs,
It's got legs too.
it's got legs, lots of legs. 95,000 lakes.
It's a lot of lakes.
Again, I just purely out of geographically, I feel like Sweden will have more lakes.
That is correct.
Thank you. Thank you.
Compared to Switzerland, which only has 7,000.
Oh, they're slacking hard.
Speaking of, though,
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Switzerland, I haven't been to Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
And we drove past Lake Geneva,
Mm-hmm.
and it is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Oh
Gorgeous.
my
I've heard.
lord.
I've
I
heard.
had a transcendental moment just
Ah.
driving past it. We didn't even get out because I was just so taken away by it.
In love.
I felt like I was levitating, you know.
Right,
That's how
okay.
beautiful it was.
I want
So
to go
shout
now.
out to Switzerland. Also, super expensive. We went to go and get a chicken at like their version of Tesco type thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like 20 euros or something
For a chicken.
for a chicken. What's going on?
Absolute violation.
Sort yourselves out.
Get more lakes.
But yeah, you did pretty well.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I think the GrassTooth podcast, the GrassTooth, the GrassTooth is the segment.
Yes.
The GrassTooth podcast has helped Sweden in its campaign to try and differentiate themselves from Switzerland. And go for it. We're here for it. We're here to support you guys. And thank you to our commenter. Let me find the commenter's name.
Find his name.
It was not a simple name. User TE5FS1KG5R.
That's a very Swedish username, isn't it? But his parents couldn't call him that.
We're watching. We're listening. We know what you're saying. Okay. We're here. We hear you. And that is
the GrassTooth.
That was a great. I think we really got to the crux of it.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Do you have any stories of mixed identities? So, for example, me. Whenever, I live in a quite a Muslim populated area. I walk around. I get the odd salam alaikum.
Okay.
And the first couple of times, I was like,
okay.
I don't know what to do.
Is it me?
What do you mean?
As in, are you thinking, are they talking to me?
Yeah. I'd be like, oh, is there someone behind me?
Exactly,
and then I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. But with time, I was like, hitting back with an alaikum salam.
Oh, okay.
It's cool.
Right, look at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's nice. It is nice.
You feel connected.
Because in London, especially, you don't really have that saying hi sort of thing to each other. So it's true. It's a nice little touch, What about you? As in, my story was quite positive.
It was quite positive, yeah.
But what about you?
My stories are not positive, but also not negative. Okay. They're just
interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, to be honest,
see if I make that noise.
To be honest, 7 or 8 out of 10 times,
okay.
I get classified as a Korean.
Right.
People say, "Oh, you look quite Korean," because I think I've got a very typical Korean face. I think I look like a lot of famous Koreans, apparently. Not according to me, according to people around me. So I've been told, and I kind of dispute this quite a bit. I've been told I'm fairly similar to Steven Yeun. Right? Which I don't see at all, by the way. But he's a very handsome man. I wouldn't mind it.
You're not complaining?
Not complaining at all.
Okay.
I've been told this a lot, and I've started to see it a bit more recently. I've been told I look like Son Heung-min, who's I don't know if you know him. He's a South Korean football player.
I've heard of him. He plays for Tottenham?
Tottenham Hotspurs. He's their captain. I've been told I look like him quite a lot. So my nickname now when I play football is Yon Heung-min. So it's a cheeky little racist joke there. I think sometimes I've been, because as a Korean, my skin tone, because I used to play golf quite a lot and I play a lot of sports, so I get tanned quite easily, and my skin complexion is sometimes slightly darker than a normal Korean person, if I can say it that way. So I've been told I look Malaysian, I think once or twice, I think, and also Indonesian. I've been told that a few times as well. But that's calm. I like it, man. I like it. As I said, globalization. I embrace globalization. I embrace good tanning. I love it. It's cool, yeah. That's quite positive, actually.
Yeah, I know. I think we've taken these well.
I think, actually, to be honest, now that you've asked this, I actually had a chat with one of my other friends. I say my friend, he's your friend as well. I don't know if he's told you about it, actually. But apparently this happened at work. And apparently someone messaged him this, right? He said,
who is it?
It's should I say his name?
No,
I won't say his name. But he's a Korean friend, isn't he? He's a South Korean friend. You know exactly.
Who else could it be?
You know exactly who it is. He works at a company.
He does.
And someone hit him with this email. He said, "Hello. I am looking for someone who can speak Chinese and would be able to speak to a colleague in our Chinese office on our behalf. Apologies in advance, as I appreciate you may not be from China! ! My parents are from Ireland, but I live in the UK and speak English and Scots Gaelic, but not Irish Gaelic. Smile emoji. Thank you." And he was just like, what? What? Corporate. This is a corporate landscape, by the way. I mean, how would that make you feel?
If I got a message,
Mm-hmm.
an email asking me to translate, was it to translate?
It was to, I think, was it to translate? Yeah, to be able to speak to another person from
to
from another office.
Hindi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I get that upset.
Okay.
Maybe I'd at the time I'd be like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, I'd think they really should, like, they shouldn't have asked me that.
They shouldn't have asked that. Yeah.
Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Because we look the same.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough one for me. Like, for me personally,
it's like hitting up but it's like hitting up a like, you don't know where this white person's from.
mm-hmm.
Just a random white person and be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I need someone to translate Swedish for me. Can you do it?
And this person's from Switzerland.
Exactly. That's literally
what happened, right? That's literally what happened. I mean, for me, like, I can see why it would offend certain people.
Mm.
I honestly think if someone sent me this, I think they just. I know you're meant to know better, especially if you're working for a corporate company, right? You should know better than this. And even if you had the right intentions, even if you didn't mean to offend, you should know better, right? But then I'm kind of reading this going, you know what? I'll give him a pass, but I would educate him or her, whoever it was. I'd be like, you can't say
from
this
now
mate.
on.
Yeah,
don't
like,
do this.
luckily it's me. I don't mind. Like, I don't mind.
How would you have preferred it? Just being like a friendly email, like, oh,
just out of curiosity.
Do
yeah,
you speak this language?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Hi, where are you from? And then I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, you know what? Oh, do you know how to speak the language?
Right.
Or I think that's the better way to do it, right? That's that's the right way around it. I think. But yeah, great experience. What a funny story.
Get a story out of it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Fantastic.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Bloomington.
Oh, he returns.
He returns.
He returns
How are you
again.
doing, Bloomington? He comes up to you and he says, I have the power. I've accrued it over time through deep, intense meditation.
He's got a lot of power, by the way.
He can do so much.
So
We've
many
only
things.
learned a fraction of what he
Literally.
can do. Over time, we'll know all his capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
I've accrued the power to remove one of these. One of them have got to go.
Oh, it's one of those. It's one of those ones
They
again.
have to go.
They just have to go.
The fork, the spoon, or the knife. Which one are you getting rid of?
The fork or the spoon or the knife. The fork or the spoon or the knife. Can I ask one clarifying question?
Sure.
Are these, in terms of the fork, knife, and spoon, are they them in the very kind of primitive, normal self of eating, or does it kind of relate to the evolutions of them? So, for example, a knife isn't just a normal knife. It could be a kitchen knife. It could be a serrated knife. It could be something else. And the same thing with a spoon. It could be a wooden spoon, a ladle, something like that. I mean, does it count those as well, or is it just purely for when you're eating? The simple spoon, fork, and knife.
All of them.
All of them. Oh, that adds a different dimension. I think.
I was thinking I could go one way or the other, and I thought just throw it.
Just throw all of it in there.
See what happens.
Did you see there?
Did I see?
Did you see there?
Did I see where?
There's my answer.
What was your answer?
For a spoon,
Right.
a ladle,
Right.
a wooden spoon,
Right.
other things probably.
Okay.
Right. For a knife, kitchen knife, a serrated knife, any sort of knife that you use in the kitchen to slice sashimi or whatever.
Yeah.
With a fork. Is there anything else? A pitchfork?
A pitchfork.
In the kitchen? A pitchfork?
What do you mean a pitchfork in the
Poseidon's trident?
kitchen? Yeah. Tridents. All right.
Are we talking about these in relation to eating and kitchen use, or just general?
As in, I feel like I've messed it up for myself.
Okay. Yeah, you have.
By throwing everything in there.
Okay.
Okay, let's dial it down. Let's dial it down.
Right, fine.
Because I think it complicates too
Okay,
much.
cool.
All right, just
Just by themselves.
kitchen cutlery.
Kitchen cutlery. Okay, kitchen utensils.
So you're sitting at a table.
Mm-hmm.
One of these things is missing.
Right.
Which one would you not want it to be?
I guess that question depends on the food, but if we don't know what we're gonna eat, right? I think my answer stays the same. I think.
So you're getting rid of the fork.
I think I probably would get rid of the fork. I think, yeah, of the fork.
I'd get rid of the spoon.
Why?
I think it's personal.
Well, then make it public.
Public.
Yeah, tell me why.
I think I prefer eating with a fork.
Okay.
I think you can do a lot more with it.
Right.
Sure, you
Like
can
what?
like stab.
Okay, and what else? I'm waiting. I am waiting.
You can sometimes use it to cut. I guess you could do that with a spoon.
No, tell me more, please. I'm listening.
Listen, man.
You can stab.
I like the fork.
And you can stab.
It's just a feeling. It's a feeling that I have towards the fork. Okay.
But you haven't explained why you like it. You just explained one of its uses, which is to stab. Why do you like it?
I think it does everything. Not everything. Most of the things a spoon does, with the addition of stabbing. Yeah.
Can you eat cereal with a fork?
No.
Huh?
As in, yeah, but like no. You know?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I think
So
right,
if you had to, you've got the cereal in the bowl, right?
and
You've got the milk in there. You get the fork, eat the cereal, and then drink the milk.
But who does that?
You could do.
Who does that?
Could do.
The purpose of eating a cereal is to have the milk and the cereal together.
You could just drink the whole
Because
thing.
otherwise, why we don't have to use anything.
Yeah, just drink
I can
the
just
whole
put
thing.
the cereal inside a cup. I can put the milk in a bowl.
It's not a
and then
bad
just
idea.
chuck.
That
It's
is
not a bad idea,
It's
actually.
not a bad
It's
idea.
actually quite a
I
good
might actually
idea.
Look into that.
Wow, it's a new business idea right
Yeah,
there.
so now your spoon idea, like you don't need a spoon anymore.
No, I need a spoon.
No, you're not.
For me, the spoon's actually the most important utensil.
Why?
So this isn't just based off this experience, but it's also just my experience as well. When I eat at my girlfriend's house, and she's Filipino, right? They don't use a knife. I mean, they do. Obviously, they do, right? But I've seen them use a fork and a spoon.
Yeah.
Because the spoon acts as a normal spoon when you eat rice or whatever. But you can also use it to cut things.
Right.
Because it's got a sharp edge, right?
Yeah.
So it acts as like a knife. Obviously, it's not as good as a knife, but it acts as a knife, right? So the spoon is very useful. And when you're having cereal, soup, when things are hot, you can't just hold the plate and drink it. It's too hot. You need the spoon so you can, and then eat it, right? So that's why the spoon, I think, is the most integral utensil out of the three. I personally think, right, a knife is more useful than a fork.
No, I completely agree with that. I think knife
is the most important. You think the knife is the
like
most
the
important?
mango,
right?
You can't get rid of the knife.
For me, the mango is the spoon.
As in, I understand where you're coming from. And let's just say,
okay,
I'm glad that Bloomington didn't ask me the question, because there would be massive outcry from the entire world. I would be hunted down.
Yes.
Just because of my personal preference.
I've got nothing against it, but I'm just telling you the right answer. That's what I'm here to do. The same way the watermelon was the right answer.
It was not. What was the poll saying?
Hmm?
I think the poll said watermelon was not the correct answer.
Forget the poll.
What do you mean forget the poll?
The poll doesn't matter.
He's not. That's a lie. The poll does matter.
Poll doesn't matter.
We care about what you guys
The
think.
Swedish fan matters.
Listen, that poll, he might be correct. This poll, I might be correct, Who knows?
We want your answers, guys.
Yeah, let us know. What would you get rid of? Fork, spoon, knife. I don't eat with any of those most of the time.
You eat with your
I eat with my hands.
Your trusted hands.
Yeah, I think it works better for most things. I think the only times I feel like I have to use a fork or knife is for like steak, when it's like big cuts of meat or something.
Yeah.
Spoon, I think usually it's either like cereal or desserts and stuff. But other than that, hand.
Does it
even like Nando's or something? Eating with my hand.
Yeah, hand. Yeah. Does it because I mean, I'm not really used to eating with my hands.
Mm.
I mean, I do eat with my hands, obviously, but it's more like cold stuff, like cold food I can have with my hands.
Sandwiches and the
Sandwiches and stuff, obviously, the basics. But you're talking about like hot food.
Mm.
Like, I've heard it adds to the experience eating with your hands. Like, is it true or?
Yeah, for sure. The way I look at eating with my hands, it's sort of like the difference between walking with shoes on and walking barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you feel more connected with the thing that you're, you know, the object, the subject, one of them. You've seen me eat with my hands, haven't you? We've eaten together at some places. Does it gross you out?
Absolutely not. So I've obviously I don't want to say this to upset you, right? You're not my first Tamil friend. Oh, listen, don't give me that. Come on, don't give me that.
It's okay.
No, it's not okay. What's up, buddy? What's up?
No,
come
in,
on. Hey, what's up?
I feel like we've been friends for so long.
We have been friends for so long.
Yeah, and it just hurts that you'd say that, because I didn't know that.
You don't know? Oh, you don't know?
I thought I was your first.
Am I your first Korean friend? Yeah, say it.
I'm not sure. I feel like all my Korean friends like kind of entered into my life at the same time.
Okay. Sounds kind of hot. Okay, anyway. Yeah, sorry, you're not my first Tamil friend, and I've been exposed to this from a young age. I think when I first saw it, I was probably like, what, 12?
Where did you see it?
In his house.
Oh.
I went to his house, yeah, and we ate food together, and I saw it there.
Wow.
And
what was the food?
I think it was just probably like a biryani.
Okay.
It was rice and some meat,
right.
right? And I saw it, and at first I was like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Like, do you not have a spoon?
There was that culture shock, though.
There was a culture shock for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't ever like me going, oh, what's that?
Right.
Like, and bemusing it and insulting it. It was more like just curiosity. It was like, oh, what's that? Like, why do you do that?
There was no disgust whatsoever.
No disgust. Absolutely no disgust.
Non-judgmental.
I'm
at
not,
12
man.
as
Even
well.
from a young age.
Yeah.
I've never been like that. And I just went, you know what? And he told me the reasons why. And he told me that it adds to the experience. He's just been brought up doing it, and you just can't change. And it just feels right. That's what he said to me. It just feels right. And I said, you know what? I respect it. You know, I like it.
It took me a while to learn how to eat with my hands. I didn't. I wasn't born.
Is it a skill? Is it like?
It took, because I remember when I'd eat, like my grandma would give me food and I'd be eating it with my hand, and she'd be like, "Oh, that's not right. You need to do it this way. You need to do it that way."
Right.
I don't think I was eating with my hand properly until I was like 6.
Okay. Are there like different finger formations that you use, like a 2-3-2 or a 2-3-1 diamond formation?
You go for the diamond. Always the diamond.
Right. Okay.
Okay. And
so go on the offensive.
Yeah.
Right.
You bring it in,
and the counter attack just goes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, because like it's such a intuitive process. When I see people struggle, because I bring people to like eat Tamil food and like all sorts of Indian food all the time.
Yeah.
And when people struggle with eating with their hands, it looks like a child to me. But I was in that place.
It's like me with chopsticks.
You with chopsticks?
It's like me with
right.
chopsticks.
Yeah.
It's like it's natural to you, because I don't know about you with your hand eating. Like with chopsticks, I was never taught it. It was just, I think I just grew up, and ever since I was born, I just had some chopsticks in my hands.
So you don't remember at any point in your life where you were like,
what is this instrument?
Like being told you're not using it right.
I've been told yesterday that I've been using it wrong. But like my technique works, but I'm just used to it.
Right.
I've got a very weird technique of holding chopsticks, but it just works, and I'm just used to it, right? But yeah, no, for me, if someone can't use chopsticks, it's kind of like, it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
It's like, why? It's very simple.
Well, you don't use it right either.
Well, I don't use it right either. But it works.
And that's what matters.
That's what that matters.
Back to the business side of things. We were having a good time. We were having fun. And if you would like to hear more of this, subscribe. We're also on other platforms such as TikTok, and popping off, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
everywhere.
Anything else I'm missing out?
I think those are the main ones, to be honest.
Those are the main ones.
everywhere.
Just subscribe, follow, and all of those.
Subscribe.
Let's get
Comment,
this thing
guys,
popping,
comment.
all
You
right?
saw what happened to the Swedish geezer.
Globalization. All right?
Let's do it.
We're the new people. This is the new thing. Okay? You want to sign us off?
This is the GrassTooth podcast.
Shout out to the Swedes.
Let's go.